Hi, everyone. I am Ambra Hamilton. I'm one of the assistant principals at Liberty Middle School. Welcome to our Rising 7th Grade Virtual Parent University. Typically, we would invite all of our Rising 7th grade parents, guardians, and students to our campus, and we would explore the 7th grade curriculum offerings with you in person. This year, we're presenting that information via video, and then we have additional ways that you can connect if you have more questions or need more assistance. So let's get started. I'm going to introduce to you some people who could help you along the way. We're going to talk about the 7th grade curriculum offerings along with the registration process, and then I'll show you all of the LMS resources and what to do if you need more help. If you don't already know, there are 4 administrators at LMS. Mr. Shannon Brown, he is our principal. Mr. Ryan Foy is an assistant principal and athletic director. He is over transportation and logistics. Dr. Treva Stewart is another assistant principal. She's over student services and plans along with assessment. And again, I am Dr. Ambra Hamilton. I'm another assistant principal. I am over curriculum and instruction and registration. You can find all of our email addresses on the LMS website. So if you have any questions, concerns, please reach out to us and we'll get back with you. We have 3 counselors at Liberty, one of which we share with Discovery, Ms. Thompson. So Ms. Latif, she serves students with the last names A through H. Ms. Thompson serves students' last names I through M, and Ms. Clayton serves students' last names N through Z. So it does not matter what grade level your student is, it's by student last name. You can find their email addresses on the LMS website too, and feel free to reach out with any questions. Officer Jewel is our new school resource officer. We are so excited that she joins us at Liberty. She is here full time. So if you see Officer Jewel, make sure you say hello and welcome her to Liberty. All right, let's talk about registration. So the Liberty Middle School website is full of resources that I'll go into more detail, but the very first step to registration is to look at the curriculum catalog. You can find this on the Liberty Middle School website or the Madison City Schools website. When you click on Liberty Middle School registration, LMS course registration materials, the second one is middle school catalog. So if you click this, and this is a PDF of all middle school curriculum offerings. So you'll have your 7th grade core courses and their descriptions. So you can read through those. You also have electives, and you can read through all of the different elective options. It is important, I want to point out to you that there are a few electives that only Liberty offers or only Discovery, and so you want to make sure that you pick the correct ones. So for example, let's go to PE, because PE, you have so many more electives as a PE, as a 7th or an 8th grader. Okay, so for physical education electives, both Liberty and Discovery offer fitness and aerobics to 7th and 8th graders. So there's no icon beside that one. We also offer health and wellness to 7th and 8th graders, indoor and outdoor sports to 7th and 8th graders. So all of these classes are offered at both Liberty and Discovery. If you scroll down, there are some icons with a D or an L. That means it's only for Discovery or only for Liberty. So if you're interested in strength and conditioning, make sure you look at the classes with the L beside them. If you're interested in science, environmental explorations, it has an L beside it. Now, if there's an elective, for example, that maybe Discovery only teaches, let's find one. Here's one, technical theater. That's a Discovery only class, so you wouldn't want to put that one on your course request form. There's not many of those, but there are a few, so I just wanted to make sure I pointed out that icon. All right, again, that's on the Liberty Middle School website and the Madison City School website. So parents, I highly recommend that you sit down with your student and you look at that curriculum catalog and look at the 7th grade course offerings and discuss some options with your student. Let's start with core classes. Just like in 6th grade, you have 2 options for language arts. It's a year long and it's required. You can either sign up for your standard on-level Language Arts 7 or Honors Language Arts 7. It does not matter what you took in 6th grade. It's completely parent and student choice. But I do think it's very important that you, parents and guardians, reach out to your student's current 6th grade ELA teacher, because he or she could provide you with additional information to help make this decision. So he or she could give you some more data, more assessment points, strengths, weaknesses, and recommendations to help you make the most informed choice for your student. If your student took Honors Language Arts 6 this year, they can go into Language Arts 7 or Honors. It does not matter. So for maybe it was a little too challenging or they struggled a little too much, then you could go to your standard on level. Now, vice versa, if your student took Language Arts 6 and maybe they were a little bored, they didn't find it challenging enough, perhaps Honors Language Arts 7 would be a good fit for them. I just, again, recommend you reach out to your current 6th grade ELA teacher. Also know that once you make this choice, it's locked in. So we don't make schedule changes for our core classes after the school year begins, because we make these sections, we make our teacher choices and our master schedule based on your requests in the spring. Okay, so math is a little bit different this year than it has been in years past. So if this is not your first middle schooler, this is important because this is new. This is not what it used to be. The Alabama State Department of Education has come out with a new course of study. So that means new standards for the different grade levels for math. This is for middle school and for high school. So because of that, there are some prerequisites that we need to talk about. Now, as a 6th grader, your student could have taken Math 6, Accelerated Math 6, or Accelerated Math 6 Math Team. It does not matter what your student took as a 6th grader for their choices for 7th grade. They can go into Math 7, Accelerated Math 7, or Accelerated Math 7 Math Team, okay? However, what you choose for your student as a 7th grader directly affects that student's choice for 8th grade. So if you want your student, or if your student is interested in taking Accelerated Math 8 as an 8th grader, it has a prerequisite. Accelerated Math 7, that is required. So if your student is interested in the Accelerated Math 8 class as an 8th grader, he or she must sign up for Accelerated Math 7 as a 7th grader. The reason is because this course of study, the new standards, Accelerated Math 7 and Accelerated Math 8, are two sets of standards that cover some algebra content. Well, they have to have both parts of that. So they can't take Math 7 and then Accelerated Math 8, because there are going to be gaps in understanding. Again, this is a state department requirement. It's out of our control, but we can help you with making those Math 7 selections. If your student did not participate in Math Team last year, but they're interested in Math Team this year, that's definitely an option. Just make sure you know that Math Team requires outside of school practices and competitions, transportation and fees and things like that. If your student took Accelerated Math 6 this year, maybe they struggled and it was a little too challenging, they can sign up for Math 7. Now, if your student took Math 6 this year and they were bored and it was a little too slow for them, maybe they want to sign up for Accelerated Math 7 this year. Again, just like with language arts, I really, really, really recommend that you email your student's current 6th grade math teacher, and they could help you with some of the options and recommendations, looking at STAR data, giving you some feedback about the best option for your student for 7th grade. Science is much easier because every 7th grader takes life science. It's a semester-long class and it's required. Social studies is the same way. Every 7th grader is going to take 1 9 weeks of geography and 1 9 weeks of civics. Now, you could have civics first and then geography, or geography then civics, but every 7th grader will take both of those 9-week electives. This will be in the opposite semester as science. So you might take life science in the fall and civics and geography in the spring. Or you could take social studies, geography, and civics in the fall, and then life science in the spring. It just depends on your schedule. All right, let's talk electives. So just like as a 6th grader, every 7th grader is required to take 1 9 weeks of PE. Now, as a sixth grader, you could only take indoor or outdoor. Those were your only options. Like I showed you with the curriculum catalog, seventh graders have many more options for PE. So please read through the PE elective descriptions, and you're going to select at minimum one PE request. Now, if you want more than one PE, you can sign up for a maximum of 4 requests. Now, we don't guarantee you that you're going to get all of your selections for PEs, but we'll do our best. World language. As a sixth grader, you were required to take a survey of world language A. There is no requirement for a language as a seventh grader, but we do encourage our students to continue that language progression. So if your student took survey of Latin A and they're interested in Latin and they enjoyed it, then we highly recommend that they request survey of Latin B so they can continue to grow with those world language skills. Another interesting thing is we introduced Spanish as 7th and 8th graders. So Spanish was not an option as a 6th grader, but if your 7th grader is interested in taking Survey of Spanish A or Survey of Spanish B once they take A, they can request those as 7th and 8th graders. On the flip side, if you're interested in a world language that you didn't take in 6th grade, so maybe your student took French and now your student would like to try German, that's an option. Your student could sign up for Survey of German A. So we still have a lot of world language options, and we encourage our students to explore those different languages so they can kind of be exposed to different languages and different cultures, and it'll help them make decisions in high school. There are so many other electives too. I'm not going to go over every single elective, but you can read all of the explanations in the curriculum catalog. It is important that you note that there are prerequisites. So, for example, if your student is interested in app creators, which is a CTE elective, well, the prereq is computer science innovators and makers. So that means if your student was in 6th grade and did not take computer science innovators and makers, he or she must request that class first. Another example would be speech and debate. If your student took Introduction to Public Speaking as a 6th grader and is interested in the next level, or maybe is interested in debate club, speech and debate could be a great option for him or her. But Intro to Public Speaking is the prerequisite. We have different bands, choirs, arts, theater. Just please make sure you look at those prerequisites. There are a few electives that require applications. It's very important that your student looks on the LMS website for the deadlines, because a lot of these deadlines are coming up very quickly. So if your student is interested in auditioning for advanced theater, they have to submit a video through Schoology to Mrs. Kelly, or digital communications is an application and a video. Green Power is an application. So all of these have specific requirements with specific deadlines, and it's important that your student stays on top of those deadlines and meets all of those requirements. No one should put any of these on their request form unless they've been accepted to the class. And I'll show you where you can find more information in just a little bit. Okay, so let's look at what a typical 7th grade schedule could look like. This is a sample. It is not exactly what yours are going to, like the order could be different, but this is just an example to help you visualize what it could look like. You're going to have one language arts core for the whole year, a math core for the whole year. Just like I mentioned, life science one semester, geography and civics the next semester. It could be flip-flop. 9 weeks required of PE, but you could have 4 if you want to request up to 4. But if you look at this, you have 7 different options for electives to sign up for. So let's take a look. As a 7th grader, maybe I took beginning band as a 6th grader. So now I'm interested in concert band. Concert band takes an entire year, but then I still have 3 more electives that I can request. So I'd like to try the STEM elective, the CTE elective, Science of Technology. It's a project lead the way class, a lot of hands-on activities in there. Money, money, money. I want to look at personal finance. And then I took creative writing 1 as a 6th grader, so now I'm interested in creative writing 2. So this is an example of what a 7th grader's schedule could look like. This is an example of 5 different electives. Here is another example, and this example is when you have, let's see, 7 different electives. So in this example, concert band took up a lot of room with the electives. In this example, there are more 9-week electives. So PE, fitness and aerobics, introduction to chess, flight and space, survey of Latin B, because as a 6th grader, this student would have had to take Latin A. Visual arts, the prerequisite is intro to visual arts as a 6th grader. Magic of electrons, another really cool Project Lead the Way class, a lot of hands-on stuff. And then intermediate theater, which is a semester-long class that is open to 7th and 8th graders who have taken beginning theater as a prerequisite. So if you don't meet some of those prereqs, you could sign up for that for 7th grade, and then in 8th grade, you could take the next level. There is a registration worksheet on our website. It looks like this, and I'll show you where to find it. I highly recommend parents and guardians, you can print this off and fill it out with your student, and you don't have to turn this into us. It's more of a resource to help you visualize some 7th grade elective options for your student. So here are the steps to registration. 1, you're going to look at the curriculum catalog and identify courses your student is interested in. Use that registration worksheet to brainstorm elective choices. Then you're going to complete the course request form. You're going to print it out with parent signatures. Now, it's important. This is a course request form. It's a request. It's not guaranteed that your student will get all of the courses they request. We do fulfill all of the core requests, but electives, we don't offer every block all day. So for example, if your student is interested in Math Team 7, Science of Technology, and Health and Wellness, and Concert Band, there could be some schedule conflicts. And so if one class overlaps another, we will have to look at alternates. So it's very important that they complete all of their rankings on their course request form. Your student will turn in the completed course request form to the 6th grade ELA teacher by March 31st. And then the following weeks, the counselors will go into your student's ELA classroom and help them digitally input those requests into the computer. So that's the timeline. Now, after this is over, if you have more questions, there is a Google form on the LMS website. It's under Parent University. So after you watch this video, if you have questions about band or auditions or interviews or math or English or any elective, you can complete this Parent University question form, and we will get back with you about help you however we can. Now, there's also a virtual coffee with the counselor session. This is optional. So the virtual coffee with the counselors, typically we would invite parents and guardians to come into our media center and sit down with counselors for small group sessions. This year we're doing it via WebEx. So it's a small group session that if you need additional help, even after that Google form, if you need additional resources or guidance with the registration process, you can sign up for WebEx sessions. There are a limited number because it is small group. So it's important that you sign up on our website ahead of time. March 25th will be the Rising 7th grade option, and I'll show you where to find that. So if you go to the Liberty website, under registration, you'll click on LMS course registration materials. So on this side, there's the catalog that I already showed you. There's the Parent University feedback form. So if you have questions about registration or course input or anything like that, you can fill this out. And then there's also Coffee with the Counselors Rising 7th grade sign up. So you can click that and fill that out. Under course registration materials, there is a Rising 7th grade section. There is an FAQ that I encourage you to read, and you can look at all of the different questions for Rising 7th graders. There is also the registration packet. Now, your student will receive a printed copy of this packet probably the week after spring break. And so your student will have a printed copy. However, this is a fillable PDF. So you can go to the LMS website and download it and type in your responses and print it out and work through it. It's completely up to you. It is the course request form. You're going to check your PE preferences. Again, you're going to rank those 1 through 4 because you may not get your top one. You're going to rank electives 1 through 12. You won't receive 12 electives, but this is putting your alternates in there. So that's why alternates are so important. If you only do 1 through 6 or 1 through 8 and we need to look at alternates, we won't know what your alternates are. So it's important to rank those. And then here is the registration worksheet that I told you about earlier. Again, you can print this off and use it as a visual to help you and your student complete the registration form. You do not need to turn in this registration worksheet. It's just to help you. So this form is also on the LMS website. Also, as a 7th grader, your student can participate in athletics. So for next year, if you're interested in athletics, you can click on the athletics tab and it will give you all of the different teams that your student could be a part of. If your student is interested in golf or swim or track and field or any of those JCHS ones, we have a lot of students who go ride an athletic bus over to James Clemens to participate in those athletics. So all of that information is here. We also have all of our clubs and organizations, and we want our students to get involved. So we encourage you to look over the clubs and organizations. You can click on one. Here's Girls Who Code, and there's a sign-up form. So a lot of them have all the information right there for you. So we definitely want our students to get involved however they wish to. So again, if you have more questions, complete that Google form, and either myself or another staff member will email you back answering your questions. If you still have questions, there's virtual coffee with the counselor that you could sign up for. It's important to put a working email address in there because that's how you'll get the WebEx link. And that concludes our virtual parent university. So if you have any questions about next year for your rising 7th grader, complete that Google form. You could reach out to me. Again, I'm Ambra Hamilton. I'm one of the assistant principals, so I'm happy to help you however I can. We're looking forward to next year, and we hope to talk soon. So have a great day.